will be the 0909 East Midlands Railway service to Sheffield. The next station stop is Edale.
Oh, well, good evening. Good evening, everyone. By the time you probably watch this, it'll be not far off Christmas. So happy Christmas to you all, and I'm certainly looking forward to my Christmas as I'll be back up in the Peak District at the holiday cottage we've been visiting, and my daughter and son-in-law are coming up to stop with us for nearly a week, because we've got it for 2 weeks. It's at Overhaddon near Bakewell. And then the day they go home, Helen's mum and stepfather are coming up for a couple of nights. So that we'll all be together for a day, which is going to be absolutely brilliant. So I'm looking forward to that. We've got a visit to the Peak Wireworks Whisky Distillery on the cards. Now, I didn't even know there was a Peak District Whisky Distillery. It's only been going about 4 years, and I'm looking forward to buying a bottle of that as a special treat. And also a visit round Chatsworth House, because I've always put that off, but Helen, she really loved to do that, so when it's decorated up for Christmas, we're going to go round there. Well, it's what have I been up to? Well, it's 8 o'clock now. I've been set up since about 4:30. It was just about dark. And then I've just finished my dinner, really. I had a bit of noodles to start with. And, well, a drink, then some noodles, then another drink, and then a fire pot meal, and I'm just about ready for bed now. But I've sort of took my time, had a bit of a lie down, you know, spreading it out through the evening, because, you know, it's a long old night in the tent. So I came up on the train. I'm intending to hike for 4 days, but we'll see how we get on. This is the first day, and I got off the train at Edale, and I hiked along the western edge of Kinder, followed the Pennine Way, and I was going to camp up at Sandy Hayes so I could see that gorgeous sunset, but unfortunately I couldn't find any water along there, and I didn't get any water from Kinder Downfall. So I'm halfway down Ashup Clough on the way to the Snake Inn, and that's where I kind of intended to camp anyway, and I'm kind of glad I did, because there's low cloud and the northern edge of Kinder is actually in cloud. It's ever so dark here, really dark in Ashup Clough, and there's no wind, and it's just so quiet. It must be around 2 degrees, something like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a good night's sleep, and tomorrow I'm going to go over Alport Castles, up, then drop down the other side and up the West End Valley, and then go over by Cronksley Cabins down into the Derwent, Upper Derwent Valley, and probably camp somewhere around there. And then on the third day, make my way slowly down the beautiful Derwent Valley to Fairholmes, because I'll be just about run out of food then, so that'll just leave me one more night probably on the way to Bamford, I think. So anyway, so my rucksack, everything, including all my camera gear, a litre of water, my walking poles, bought all my winter gear, 14 kilos. So it's heavy. I was going to bring my summer bag, and then I thought, bloody hell no, you're going to be stupid there. So I swapped it back for my 1.5 kilo winter bag instead of my 500 gram summer bag to save weight. But yeah, I got on all right today anyway. I'm not sure how far I walked, but I talked to loads of people. A guy, he'd come over just when I was leaving Edale. I was talking to a guy, he'd walked 3 days from Crowden. A bit of a practice for the Pennine Way this year. His dad said he did it 20 years ago. And his son the chap wants to do it this year, so next year I mean. So he was kind of having a little practice for that, you know, getting his gear sorted, and I talked to quite a few people on the way here, so that made it interesting. And so I shall be getting a bit of rest now, probably have another drink I think before I hit the sack. So nice talking to you all, and catch you a bit later on this hike. So, Merry Christmas to you all. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock and I'm not even up yet. I've been in the tent since like 4 o'clock. Had a bit of a walk round in the evening about 9 o'clock, just around the tent, just stood there looking up at the stars. Really, it looked amazing. You know, you can't really see them at home living in the city. There's a lot of planes fly over this side of Kinder, Ashop Clough, on the Snake Path. A lot of planes. Put my earplugs in, but that didn't help that much. And also my Uberlite sleeping pad started to deflate. I've had to puff it up about every 2 hours. It's okay though. I mean, I'm using the Uberlite, but I've got a foam mat on top of it, which is okay. That's fine for the warmth value. Just a thin foam mat. So I'm going to pack away and get on the way. I started wiping the tent down, and there's a little bit of ice on it. I mean, it is cold now. I've got out of the tent. You can certainly tell the difference. But I'm really surprised how warm it is in the tent. You know, you're in your nice down sleeping bag, and you perhaps got your coat pulled over the top of that, and it generates a lot of heat in there, really. And I'm so disappointed about my sleeping mat going down. It's going to be all right for the next couple of nights, hopefully. But I'm pretty disappointed about that, but never mind, what can you do? I did find my comb underneath it. Whether that was the only sharp thing, could have damaged it, could be the valve, who knows. I'll check it out when I get home. But, so carry on with the route this morning. I've sort of rolled most things up. It's not far off 9 o'clock. I've not had anything to eat yet, or to drink, so I've had a bit of a strip wash in the tent and packed most things away. But this morning, seeing the mist in this valley, you know, amongst my favourite valleys in this area, Ashop Clough, when you get out the tent in the morning, you just realise that's what you do it for. That's why you camp. Just the whole experience, just being able to wake up in the morning in this environment and see the hilltop lit up with the sun, which is about to come over sharp, what's it called, that edge, the northern edge. It's about to come over there. Look, the sun's about to come up. It's just incredible. Starting to feel a bit more rejuvenated now I've got up. My bloody arm's shaking holding this camera, it's heavy. I think I'll call it a day and I'll speak to you later. Let's have that cereal. A handful of nuts and a date in it as well. Hope there's not a stone in that date. Let's have another date and another walnut. Yep. Let's have that bit of cereal I was promising myself. Yeah, make the most of this. This is what camping's all about. It's like summer. Was it very end of November? I've been watching all these videos on YouTube. People camping in horrendous weather. I'm very lucky I'm not got to go to work. That's all I can say. To be able to come out and enjoy the weather when it's like this. Oh my God. I mean, it was nice at the weekend. Probably about 9:30 now. Got to relax, ain't I? Take advantage of this weather. I didn't think it were going to be freezing last night, so I didn't put my water filter in the tent, but it hasn't frozen anyway. It's just a light air frost really. There's not even a ground frost. I weren't going to bother having a coffee or oat, but I'm going to. That's how little wind there is. Filter this last bit of water for the morning. We've got some of these Taylor's coffee bags from somewhere. I don't know where they came from. But anyway, we'll try that. Oh, it smells nice. We'll chuck that in there and try that. And now that sun has come up over the horizon there, this is extremely pleasant. In fact, it reminds me of a time I stayed at the Snake Inn with my wife Helen, and it was the weekend they changed the clocks, and there was a really severe frost, and it was just a gorgeous sunny morning like this, and we looked out of the windows of the Snake Inn across the valley and up towards Ashop Clough, and it was just absolutely beautiful. I think that was the toughest walk Helen had ever done, because we walked up Ashop Clough along the edge and back down Fairbrook. Is it called Fairbrook? Back towards the Snake Inn. And she's not much of a walker. She enjoys staying in and crocheting and crafting and things like that. But yeah, that was a great weekend. I stopped there a couple of times, and once when I camped in the woods outside of the Snake Inn, I was with my brother and we went into the pub at night, and there was an anniversary do. It was the Southern anniversary do for the Great Outdoors Challenge Walk. So people that lived in the Midlands area, say, they were stopping because there was a bunkhouse there at the time and a hotel and stuff, and it was kind of a big get-together. I didn't really recognise anybody famous like Chris Brasher or anybody like that, or that guy that does the Cameron McNeish, or the other guy that does the gear reviews and everything with the beard from the Great Outdoors magazine. I didn't recognise any of those there. I mean, this is probably going back maybe 20 years now. But yeah, that's a good memory. Anyway, soak this sun up. I wonder if it'll dry the tent. There's still a bit of ice on it. I can't believe how much ice there was on the tent. It just must have been a bit of an air frost because there's no frost on the ground. That bastard air mat. Bloody hell. $10:30. Blimey, it's like being a teenager. Here we are behind the Snake Inn, just getting onto Alport more on the old Roman road. And I'm going to tell you a little story about this spot. Is the first place I ever came for a hike in the Peak District with my brother. I was about 21 years old, and I think I've got a photograph of me somewhere with me a little knapsack on and me red hand knitted jumper. I'll see if I can dig it out and show you. Anyway, brings back fond memories. Hiking along here. Here's a guy, looks like he's been out all night, just coming down here now. You see him there? Can't see him because the camera's focused this way. Nice bit of homemade cake. Not homemade by Helen though, she bought it from a Christmas bazaar. It's a shame about the mist now. It's taken away those spectacular views, but I've spoken to a few people this morning, and apparently the valleys were thick with mist this morning. So hopefully, as there's not much wind, this is the mist rising slowly, and we'll once again be in the sunshine. because the temperature has dropped dramatically. Now we're in the mist, but never mind, at least I know where I'm going. Heading to Alport Castles now, and by the time I get there I think I'll be looking for somewhere to camp. Time to put the gloves on. This hand's absolutely frozen. How's that? That's a bit better, isn't it? I'm absolutely soaked inside my coat, my back is dripping off my face. That's what, no wind, very close. It must be cold, but I'm absolutely boiling. And carrying 17 kilos, that's with my water and everything, up Alport Castles. Quite enjoyed it though, quite enjoyed that strenuous exercise. Since I was feeling absolutely knackered coming along that farm track. We're going to have noodles with a bit of couscous in. And it's about 5:30 now, and I'm well tucked up into my tent. Got my lunch on the go, well, my starter anyway, and then I shall have some dinner after that. I've got my nice down coat on, down trousers. I'll give my feet a good clean, bit of a body wash, clean pants, clean socks, and my down booties on. But my hands are certainly feeling it, because unfortunately there's a very slight breeze and it's blowing straight in the tent door, but never mind, I think I can put up with that. I had expected to get over to the Derwent Valley, but had a very late start, taking advantage of that beautiful sunny, quite warm really when the sun had come out, weather we had this morning. So I did quite a bit of filming and just really took my time and enjoyed that gorgeous weather, because by dinner time it was thick mist and very cold, and I was feeling a bit shattered later on this afternoon, and but that perked me up a bit, the stiff climb up to Alport Castles. It's going to be reindeer stew. Yeah, that's good enough, I think. See if we can get the right amount in here. Whoops. Bloody hell, that went in with a clunk. Merry Christmas to you. Well, that's it, all fed and watered, and it's bloody damp in the tent tonight. It's all a bit steamed up. Just listening to the radio for a bit. Sarah Cox, she's lovely, isn't she? Very funny. Anyway, it's it's 6 o'clock now, so we've got the football at 7. I might listen to that on the radio, see how they get on. But anyway, my daughter and son-in-law live in Cardiff, and he hates well, I won't say, will I, but anyway, he loves England, he loves football, but I'm not so keen, but I enjoy good competition, so there you go. Anyway, look at that, we're still steaming up, Anyway, night. Oh, that makes the tent warm, having a fire inside it. Bloody hell, it's roasting in here now.
That's Matt Hobson with us, played at the World Cup for England, scored at the World Cup for England. It's currently 0-0 here in what is the 104th match between these sides. The first one back in 1879, 143 years ago, was played at the Oval with the pitch covered in snow. I know this is a Winter World Cup, but Kane playing it through for Rashford through the middle.
Good morning. It's 7:30 and I had a pretty good night's sleep last night, really. A lot quieter, hardly any aeroplanes flying over the Alport area, unlike up the clough I was in the other night. So I've been wondering what to do as well, because not that my sleeping mat's really a problem. I've got this very thin foam mat. That seems to be insulation enough, but now in the night when I blew my air mat up, the bloody one of the baffles blown on it now, so I'll have to go back and see what they can do about it. But anyway, let me wipe the screen there. I think we're steaming up. I thought, well, I could have carried on with my plans for the hike, but I've looked outside the tent and it is really thick mist. It's really damp as well, so I'm going to get packed up and head down to Bamford. That's my underpants I'm wiping the screen with, but they're very clean, don't worry. I'm going to put clean ones on this morning. So I'm going to head down to Bamford and then get back home, I think. So, and my daughter's coming up from Cardiff tomorrow night for the weekend, so that'll be very nice. I've acquired a new coat. It's kind of a winter weight waterproof 3-layer, and yeah, it's very good. I'll tell you something about it though. This coat, it belonged to my dad, and unfortunately my dad passed away about 6 weeks ago, and so I've acquired a few new bits of camping kit. But so it's a whole new life starting for me, because my father was really my best friend and somebody I did a lot of things with, and I spent quite a bit of time with. And we shared a huge love of hiking together, and we've done a lot over the years. So I've got his blue top on, which is the same as my green one. We had a lot of clothes that were the same. I've got his gaiters on this trip, and I've got his coat, bless him. And so what have I been doing with my time? You know, I spent a lot of time at my dad's since I finished work at the end of May, or May, whenever it was. And I have since Dad passed away, he had 3 Morris miners and a rented workshop on a farm, and I've been spending about 4 days a week there. I'd like to do some filming on the workshop, but I just haven't felt like it really. You know, my dad spent 25 years at that farm, and most of them in that workshop, just as a hobby towards the, you know, he did it all his life, bodywork, worked on cars, but the last over 20 years it's just been a hobby, the Morris Mines. And so I've kind of stepped into his shoes and carrying on with the Morris Miners, and I'm glad I've got that to do. You know, I'm 63, not retirement age yet, so income's you know, I've got no income, and but it gives me a lot to do, you know, 4 days a week. It's just taking, I didn't realise how much effort goes into looking after these old cars and what you have to do, but I really enjoy it, and I know a lot about them, you know, helped Dad over the years, and had when I left school I worked in in our family garage for 4 years, and gave me a fantastic grounding and knowledge for that type of thing. But so what I've been doing up to now is I've stripped the varnish off the Blue Traveller and I'm re-varnished it. I've nearly done that. And then I've got to seal around the edge, make sure it's completely watertight, and also I'm treating any rust underneath the body and under the wings. So I'm removing some of the paint and repainting underneath. So that's what I'll be getting back to after this little camping trip, which has turned out to be rather cold and wet, but a fantastic start, as you've seen. Anyway, God bless my dear old Dad, and I miss him hugely, so all the best. Oats, nuts and dates for my breakfast. Leave me alright, won't it? I should have bought a second pair of gloves. That's a big mistake. It is absolutely bloody freezing. The only thing that's really cold is my hands. I don't want to get my gloves wet packing my tent away, so I'll get that sorted and then get them gloves on. Thank you, little freezing cold camp spot. I'll be alright when I get going. Check to make sure there's nothing left behind.